Beautiful day in the neighborhood. Beautiful day in the neighborhood. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Would you be my neighbor? Hey, everybody. Welcome. It looks cloudy out now. Oh, I know why you moved your chair now. Because of that window? Is that why you moved it?
No, I was actually trying to just create space in here.
Oh, I thought maybe because you always try to close the window so that your shot doesn't have you looking crispy.
Well, that is another reason too, because the lights then would drown out to then fading me out because of the sunlight behind me. So that's a good reason.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Welcome everybody. It's a little cloudy out, but still a good day. We're almost. What is that?
That's your phone.
Oh. That's the. Oh, okay. Because we're on delay.
Yes.
It's cloudy out, but it's still a beautiful day. Got a few things to talk about. Number one, we're getting a lot of interview requests right now for the 1-year anniversary of the Tops massacre. And it's almost the same questions over and over. Obviously, people want to know the same things. How are you all dealing with it? What has changed? And I think it was yesterday in one of the interviews. Now, I'm just talking out loud. Maybe this is going to be my therapy session or something. I don't know. Because I know we have to acknowledge that date, but I think we have to be very, very sensitive in how we acknowledge it.
Completely agree.
Because this cannot be a kind of celebratory circus. So I'm not going to say who I just met with, but I just met with, who the heck is Joe calling me? Joe must not know I'm on the radio. But anyway, I don't even know who it is anyway. All this is Joe. I have to think of who Joe is. It's not Joe Galumbeck because it would say Joe Galumbeck. It just says Joe, somebody's name I didn't know. Anyway, it's not, I think if this isn't handled right, because you got so many people who use the Tops for attention.
Yeah.
And doing things that, in my opinion, are not necessarily at times helpful. So I approached this next week, not this week coming up, but the following week. I don't think I want to be at a whole lot of events. I got to be so careful in what I'm. No, I don't. 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 And it's not because of the people who are holding the events at all.
Right.
It is my own feeling of
Reliving.
that but this, the families, till I have a sense, and I just said this to a family member, until they go till they breathe, until they exhale, I can't exhale.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to gauge that, except these one-on-one conversations that I'm beginning to have with them. Is that if they don't exhale, I can't exhale,
right?
Because it was not my mom or it was not my dad who was murdered, so or my sister or anybody. So at the end of the day, I can't exhale yet. So I know that there's a weekend of activities planned. I may go to the Sunday service briefly. It is Mother's Day.
It is.
And I am not sure. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to walk into another funeral.
Right.
I mean, atmosphere. But I don't know how you balance that And a guy I was on that I'm going to be possibly on a panel with on a TV station said this, and I really appreciated him saying this. He said the same way that the Jews will not let go of the Holocaust. They constantly remember it so that there will be change. And I think part of their theme is never again.
Yeah.
And then yesterday I was on I can say the WABC with Dr. A.R. Bernard on a show they have that is national called the Rabbi and the Rev, or the Rev and the Rabbi, one way or the other. And so there was a Jewish rabbi on, and I mentioned this, and I had to walk into it gingerly because I didn't want him to think I was saying that TOPS was the Holocaust, but it was for us. And he agreed, and he talked about how important it is because there are Holocaust deniers. There are people who say that there is no Holocaust. And I was talking about when I went to Israel and going to the Holocaust, on one of my trips, we went to the Holocaust Museum, and how shoes of the people who were killed in the Holocaust are in that museum and other artifacts. And it really brought, for lack of a better term, brought to life for me not only what the Jews who were killed in the Holocaust went through, but also what those who were unfairly treated went through. So I think that in Buffalo, because although there have been other mass murders since TOPS, none of them have been a white supremacist saying that he wanted to kill black people.
Right.
None of them. So Buffalo right now, to me, has the opportunity, if we keep the lives and deaths, because it's not just the lives, it's not just the deaths, it's the fact that they lived. If we keep it on the front burner, and not so that, Buffalo has a TOPS museum, but that we do deal with white supremacy and racism, so that people can come to Buffalo and deal. I mean, we got the African American Heritage Corridor.
Yep.
That is growing. What happens if we got the Nash House, we got the Michigan Street Baptist Church, you got the Colored Musicians Club, got this station getting ready to move into a new home, got the corner where NAACP is located and where the Niagara movement was, and where the NAACP was discussed. You got all of these places. What happens if there is a location? Oh boy. Because they're talking about redoing those Broadway barns. And I know that there's already some plans, but I'm just talking out loud, folks. Honestly, I'm just talking out loud. I'm talking out loud. What happens if there was a location there that shines a light on white supremacy and racism, and that the 10 I remembered in there, but also others across the United States who have had to suffer. The woman who accused Emmett Till just died the other day. Just died. I didn't even know she was still alive.
And the only reason why I knew she was alive, because I think it was either last year or the year before, was the first time she came forward and admitted that she made the story up. So that's the only reason why I knew she was still alive.
I didn't know until she died. We have to do more. Now, what I said on another radio show is that I have never seen so much mental health counseling. Now, I think that definitely is important, but after the mental health counseling, after we kind of get our heads on straight, what do we do? I got the infrastructure dollars for the and I call it the East Side, unashamedly. That's what I grew up with. That's what I'm calling it. I got the money, we want to, I get, when I say I understand money to build up a community. But I want to be real frank on this show. The community is not real reflective of what we're talking about we want right now.
No.
So we may be building up a community that we can't afford to live in
And won't be living in.
and being priced out right now.
Yeah.
Now, I'm just gonna say this, and I gotta say this. I gotta say it. That it has to go beyond just brick and mortar. It's gotta go to really getting people to understand about white supremacy and racism. The area around Tops does not look like the area from when I was 10 years old. And the people who owned property around Tops, many of them have passed on, including my grandmother. My grandmother's house is right behind Tops.
Wow.
The house right behind Tops. It was 53 Landon. My grandmother's dead and gone. I then owned it. I sold it to somebody, African American. And then they sold it. I'm not sure who bought it from there. Point is, if we don't get ourselves together, I sat with somebody the other day to keep somebody in their apartment, and I'm not gonna go in detail because I don't want them to get put out with my mouth. But I listened to somebody talk about these people who don't pay their rent, these people who da-da-da-da. And I sat there biting my lip. And I had to bite my lip because he already had an eviction and he could put this woman out that day. And I needed to get her 30 days.
Yeah.
I can tell you I'm never doing that again. I am never doing that again. And what do I mean? I made up in my mind when I got done with that meeting because it blindsided me. And before I let somebody say that, I would go and get her. I just didn't have no place to move her, but she begged me to help, and I did. I got there, and I helped. But there are some people who are not white supremacists who feel that African Americans are lazy,
Yep.
don't want to work, don't want to pay rent. And there are some.
Yeah.
But there are also some white
I
folks
was
like
gonna say,
that.
there's also some white people the same
And there's
way.
also other brown people the same way. So it goes beyond being lazy. It goes to the real fact of the matter that corporate America was not opening up any doors for us.
Right.
And we still celebrating first. After being free, allegedly free, we still celebrating first. The first one to become vice president is the first. So we still haven't recovered from the days of being enslaved. We still have not recovered from Jim Crow laws.
No.
So now you come into this country, you can't act as if you know what our daggone struggle is. You can't, because you don't know, because you did not live here when there was redlining. You did not live here when we could not get the money to afford to rehab our houses or even to daggone buy them.
Yep.
So they didn't go from, many houses didn't go from white America's hands to black America's hands. They went from white America's hands to black America renting. Because if I could not, even now, and I'm really grateful that Crystal Peoples-Stokes is put forth legislation about the credit. And what is the legislation is about credit and insurance.
Yes.
That your insurance, if your credit is bad, your insurance goes up. What do those two things have to do with each other? Just because I have I might have a blip on my credit report don't mean I ain't gonna pay my car insurance.
Well, in the insurance industry, I've been angry with since I started driving at 17 because just the fact that you get a discount if you have a college degree. You get a discount if you work full time. Like all of these random factors that are included when you are just trying to get a quote, that to me has nothing to do with it. And let's not even add the zip code part because me and you, me and you both have already,
bruh. It costs to live in struggling neighborhoods.
Yes.
I moved from Harbor Point to where I live now, and when they found out I moved,
Sure, it's almost double.
almost double. My
Yep.
car insurance almost doubled.
Yep.
And I get it. You feel like it's more of a threat here than over there, but at the end of the day, it costs more to be poor.
Yep.
So now you look. I'm so concerned because now you look at we dealing with another level of racism, whether people want to admit it or not. We got another level of racism, and I didn't believe it when I heard about people raising rents so that the people who lived in the house would not be able to afford it. First, I was just like, is that really going on? Oh, really? And then the more I started talking to people, I found out yes.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, that's why I'm on this campaign to push black business
Yes.
unashamedly. You all see it as, and I'm goofy with it. If you haven't seen my Facebook posts, even from last night, I was at Ike and BG's, and and honestly, and I said this, if it ain't good, I'm just not gonna post you. I'm doing that for more than just the giggles.
Right.
I'm doing that because other races stick together and they gonna buy from each other.
Yeah.
And I'm not against any other race. I'm just for mine.
Right.
And if I'm for mine, that doesn't make me a bad person.
Yes.
Now, I know some white supremacists are going to say, yeah, and I'm for mine. No, I'm for mine, and I'm not talking about hurting any other race.
Exactly.
I'm talking about boosting mine.
Absolutely.
And then we can all be happy together.
Absolutely.
But I'm going to these restaurants and these stores and doing reviews and I'm going to say this again, I'm never going to hurt anybody.
Right.
I mean, and I shouldn't say never. You should probably never. You really got to do me. You got to do me some type of way. But at the end of the day, it is for us to. I met with somebody today, and they're like, "Man, after I saw your video last night, I got up this morning, went on the website to see what time Ike and BG's open."
That's it.
That meant the world to me. That somebody saw something and like, let me go patronize, because then now he could do better and he can expand if we. But here's the deal, and I said this before, and I'm going to keep saying it. I knew when I put it up, somebody's going to say, yeah, but I had a bad experience. Oh, my God. But did you ever say anything about the good experience?
No. And here's the thing. You still eat McDonald's even though every other time you go to ice cream machine broken. you want French fries and they come out cold and stale, but then you're like, oh, but I gotta have my McDonald's French fries. Like, and we talk about Walmart. The cashier can get smart with you at Walmart, and you still like next week you're going back to Walmart.
You're still going. We have to be unashamed. Chucky said, kingofawesome.com, Laugh Out Loud Show. That's right. Let's use our platforms. I keep saying this to advance a culture. To lift up a culture more than just wanting likes.
Yeah.
I want to.
And the struggle really still is the black dollar leaves our community faster than any other
Amen.
Race or ethnic group.
Amen.
So quickly, it leaves.
Quickly. So I want to be able to, and I give this platform, I want to push as much black positivity as I can. And black progression. See, people who are progressive don't mind boosting somebody else who's progressive.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say it. I ain't no slouch. I've done pretty well in my life. And it's usually the people who are doing well, they recognize that and be like, yeah, how we going to collab? How we going to do this? And then the ones who just want to complain, oh, you got too much. Oh, you got to, oh. Go get something. Some of something. Go get some of something. Go get some money. Go get something.
Just do something. And I think, like you said, that becomes the struggle because people end up mad and arguing and feuding, and it's just like, just go do something. Like I'm not gonna put you down if you're accomplishing something, but you ain't got to put me down because I'm not doing what you're doing.
Well, even when we look at Tops and the opinions of whether it should open or not. Those are opinions. And I have, you know me, I mastered the middle. At the end of the day, there were some people who felt like it definitely should not be open. I didn't go against them.
No.
because there were people right down the street who were like, we need this back open.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, I respected everybody's opinion, but it doesn't mean that if I have an opinion that I'm the devil.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes what we've been conditioned to do. Did I think Top should open? At first, I didn't. I was torn. I didn't know. But then when I recognized if they close, we have nothing in our community of a major store.
Yeah. And it was even crazy because I was talking to a business owner on Jefferson, because Jefferson now has the business association, and they literally said the Family Dollar is not reopening in the plaza next to Tops, and they said there's been community members like, can you do anything because of just another option for people who maybe can't even afford to shop in Tops, but they go into Family Dollar. I don't know. For certain things, it's probably break even. And he was like, just the travesty that even Family Dollar is leaving hurts that community.
Yeah.
And it's just like, but a lot of those stores closed because they got ransacked during the blizzard. It never reopened.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Like you said, it's a
and that hurts the whole community.
The whole community.
Because there are things in that store that Tops does not carry.
Right.
When and at the end of the day, you want as many businesses that can support a community to be there. Now, Lord have mercy. Go ahead. I got a loss for words for a minute.
But I do think, like you said, it's a change of our own community first, and then trying to figure out, because I think if we change how we look, because we have our own illicit biases on our own stuff, because that's what's been taught, like you said, from Jim Crow to now. So now you have a lot of us, even when you are a black employer. You're like, oh man, I don't want to hire our people because they don't show up to work, they lazy. I can go to the Home Depot at 6 a.m. and get workers to get the job done because I can't find people in my own community to do the work. But sometimes it's just because you've already put that bias there.
Yeah. We have to be careful about that.
And my grandmother used to say, if you look for boogers, you're going to find them. So if I'm already looking for something with the problem identified, then I'm not going to find black workers. I'm not going to find black employees. And I'm not going to shop at a black place because I'm already going into it with, I'm going to have an issue there. Or you're going in thinking like it's going to be a problem.
All right, I'm going for the elephant in the room. I'm going back to what I was talking about. I'm going for it. Lord, help me through this. In the past, we used to have discussions with Black America and white America. Or let's talk about Buffalo.
Yeah.
It's time to have discussions with new Americans.
Yes.
And black folks.
Yeah.
Because I've heard all about, and I've had people come to me and say when different, maybe they thought I would make a decision based on somebody's ethnicity. Never. Let me say this. Never is Darius Pridgeon going to make a decision like, well, this store shouldn't open because they from Bangladesh. I can't.
Right.
It is against every law, and you cannot discriminate against somebody because of their race, their ethnicity, their religious belief is protected. Okay, let me do that first. So other people have tried to educate us on cultural norms and for other people and what's important to them and how they feel. But I think it's time to have a discussion for them to understand us also.
Yeah.
I think it's time for them to understand why you have so much poverty among African Americans in this country, so that they can understand it's not about being lazy.
Right.
I think we need to have an understanding so that they understand us now.
Yeah.
Because now it's starting to become agitating.
Yeah.
And in this conversation I had the other day, I was like, wow, because you got this lady over a barrel, you think you can, but I was thankful to God for it. Because as I said to somebody today, it has changed me.
Yeah.
God will allow you to go through things, and then he says, now how you going to help somebody else with this? How you going to help? Because that ain't just a thought. We need to begin to have a conversations that, do I need to open that thing? Oh, I thought that was Rachel. We need some conversation now among communities because we are mixing in these same communities.
He did text me. So
Oh,
yes.
he did.
Yep.
We need that now.
Yeah.
They need, it's to come to Jesus and come to Allah moment, and I mean that literally, because I'm seeing everything out there about people being angry politicians and people being and I'm going right to it, who have relationships with people, especially from the Bangladesh community and da. Folks, at the end of the day, right around the neighborhood,
Yep.
there are different people here. And we're gonna have to. It's time that we're gonna have to get in the sandbox
Yep.
and have some real conversations. Because if there are people who feel that African Americans are lazy and I don't want to rent to them because of one bad experience or something, you need to understand our culture too. Just like we're trying to learn your culture.
It's true.
You need to understand what. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, you need to understand. I'm trying to do something.
Well, you want to go to the.
Oh yeah, let's go to commercial. We'll be back with this, I think, very important topic. Shad, I'm coming back over to you in 3, 2, 1.
When it comes to something as personal as your clothes, you need to deal with somebody you can trust. That's why so many people turn to Hobson's Dry Cleaning, conveniently located in the heart of the community at 874 East Delavan at the corner of Wyoming.
When you take your clothes to Hobson's, you can trust that they'll be ready on time.
You can trust that your whites will be white.
You can trust that you'll always get a fair price and service with a smile.
You can even trust that you won't have to get out of your car if you don't want to. Hobson's has a drive-through window for your convenience.
Trust is what it's all about at Hobson's Dry Cleaning.
Hobson's Dry Cleaning, your one-stop dry cleaners serving the community for over 30 years at 874 East Delavan at the corner of Wyoming. Call 891-8298. That's 891-8298.
Brian K. Lewis Funeral Home has 3 locations to serve you in Buffalo: 347 Peckham, 2258 Bailey Avenue, and Providence Memorial Chapel at 1275 Sycamore. Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes offers traditional services, and they have services for all faiths. And at Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes, they have air-conditioned parlors and chapels. Financing is available, as is limousine service. At those difficult moments in your life, Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes is available where you are with counseling services. Call toll-free 877-885-7734. That's 877-885-7734. Or locally, 845-5545. Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes. We are here to serve you, here to serve this present age. Call today, toll-free, 877-885-7734. Or email info@brianklewisfuneralhome.com.
Yeah, I think I've always taken on the tough subjects and tried to bring understanding on both sides. But I think there are some communities that need to understand how we feel about how some of our females are treated and stored. It's just so many things that sometimes becomes one-sided. So it has been, the conversation has been, well, we need to learn them. And we do. Mm-hmm. We really do. But they also need to learn us.
Yeah.
And because communities are changing. And so when we talk about even around tops, and it's changed and it's going to keep changing. It's part of life. It's part of how we evolve and how countries change. But when my grandmother lived on Landon, it was mixed with black and white. Mm-hmm. Then there was only one white woman I still remember that lived next door to her till she died. I almost remember her name. And then it was all black. And then during that period, there was very little investment in these communities, very little infrastructure investment, very little, you ain't see bright new sidewalks and all that kind of stuff. And now it's a whole different ballgame. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. Right. It is what it is. Mm-hmm. But I think that at the end of the day, people need to understand that one of the reasons we don't have as many African Americans owning property is because many of them were housed in housing projects. It goes all the way back to education, all the way through, all the way up.
It's
to
not one system that caused.
Absolutely, it is a world system, a U.S. system, and now people are apologizing and wanting to come to Jesus, but it's not enough to save us from what we've been through, right? And I know nobody in the past when we talked about reparations, honestly, I was like, yeah, right. But listen to this. And they should. The Native Americans figured out a way for reparations.
Yep.
And it was called sovereign land, and
Yes.
it still is called. It's called, we do our own properties, we pay no taxes to this government, and because you took something from us.
Yep.
And I know now everybody's mixed with something. So everybody would be getting reparations. But you really, I think that, okay. There's a suburb, I can't remember which suburb, that is right now voting, if they didn't already do it, or was that the county, to give volunteer firefighters a break on their taxes. So they're getting like 10% off because they're not getting paid.
Wow.
And you wonder, and this is way above my pay grade, how do we ever get to a real place of equity? How do we ever, because when we start to move forward, now the landscape has changed again.
Yep.
And that's why I wish and give all my support to school board and Dr. Williams. I give all of my support to them because we need a great school system.
Yeah.
So you got this contract stuff out of the way. And at the same time, she's really, really trying to concentrate on education. Now we got this 3-bell system so that kids are not on bus stops, all day long, and they can go back on the field trips, and they can do those things that are so important to their growth. But there's so many systems. It's like, and I think you just have to pick which system you have an expertise in and get in there and work, because you can't do them all. But I think that every single system, and in a minute I am going to talk about Bray Millers publicly, every single system has to be addressed.
I agree. And I don't know if you remember these, but I actually miss when Tavis Smiley used to host the State of the Black Union, because, like you said, he would have a subject matter expert from education, from government, from financial. And like you said, and it's coming up with the platform. And if you got education, then I'm going to support, but I don't need to focus on education, because I'm going to focus on, like you said, how to get that equity in the banking system. While you get the equity in the education, I'm going to get the equity in banking. Somebody else is fighting on the laws, and everyone is fighting criminal justice. And again, just supporting. I'm not putting it down, because if you wanted to go rah-rah, because that's what you feel like you have to do, I'm going to support you. But might not be how I need to change. Absolutely. Might not be how I need to change the banking system. And I think we have to understand there's going to be different strokes for different folks, but we're all trying to accomplish the same thing. And don't be mad at me because you're rah-rahing, and I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm good on that. But I got you, but I'm good on that.
Yeah. We got a lot of work. But so as we approach this, probably, next couple shows, We'll continue to talk about it, get some guests on, just talk about it a little bit. 2 things I'm working on the council right now that I wanted to let you know about. One is kind of interesting. So I just put in a resolution to have safe exchange locations. So people so this happened in Buffalo the other day. A kid sells a dirt bike, one of them. So he sells it to somebody in the city. So they say, meet me, ATV, meet me at such address with the thing. We'll exchange there. So he meets them there. And they say, okay, well, we want to make sure it works.
Yeah.
So you give them the key.
And he pulled off.
They're gone. So the people from the suburbs, when they went to go they did get the ATV back. The police did get on it. So they got the ATV back, took it to park it at the impound lot of the city. And when they went to go get their ATV, the city was like, nah, you can't have ATVs in the city.
Oh, no.
So I had to step in, but because they weren't from the city, they didn't get caught on the city lot. But anyway, this is about, but it's because we're online and people are selling stuff. So I believe in Cheektowaga at the police station the other day, where they had a safe exchange place. So when you buy something online, you say, meet me at this police station.
Right.
There's cameras there and light. So I'm doing that so that people can have a safe exchange. And even for kids, because when some people divorce or separate and they've got to meet up to exchange the kids even.
That's good.
You can go there.
I didn't think about it like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. And it's not like, oh, well, we was outside arguing. You ain't arguing over there. You're going to get that kid and move on. And you also have a record then of when that child was dropped off.
Absolutely.
So if it had to be dropped off at 3 and they didn't, so I put in a resolution for a safe place at not at each police station, but on each side of town. Bray Miller's, we are working on, and there was something else we did this week. Oh gosh, can't remember. But Bray Miller's, as you know, it was brought to us to give them at first a grant for $500,000. And that turned to then the discussion of a loan. Yeah. Now, this is from money that is not directly from city taxes, but money that comes from the federal government to help in struggling areas and those type of things. So anyway, I have not signed off, or we have not voted on that, and I'm only one vote. But I have not. Oh, commingling. That's what I want to go back to. I am, and I feel for the owner.
Yeah.
I have not received any financials to be able to make that decision. I was not going to vote for a grant that would not come back, and if that business failed. And let me say this: I do not want Bray Miller's to fail. No, I'm going to say that one more time for the record and for those in the back. I do not want Bray Miller's to fail. However, I don't see any financials that $500,000 is going to keep this store going and going. And even if it's a loan, what we taking? That's $500,000. What we taking? Milk and bread?
Because we can't get the building.
Store shelves. The building has a mortgage.
Yeah.
We're not going to get the building. And it won't be in my lifetime that you'll ever see that $500,000 back. So I'm very cautious on that. I'm not going to say that I would not ever vote for it. You would have to show me some real assets that somebody's putting up. And before I think, and for those who are saying, well, what about the smaller businesses? So this $500,000, what I'm being told, is coming out of a program that was set for small businesses. 100 and something small businesses were helped. They had to use that portion by a certain time, and then some businesses didn't have their finances together, didn't come back to the table. So if that's not true from some of you, you got to let me know, because that's why I put it out there publicly, that is what I was told, that the businesses who put in and were eligible did get I think up to $25,000, something like that. At first it was smaller, and they made it more. So those were out there, and I do know of some businesses that did benefit from that. So at the end of the day, I know that there's a desire, but I'll tell you this. So this morning, one of my colleagues sent me a copy, and I'd already read it, but of an article in today's Buffalo News about the shrinking downtown. And how there are not businesses are now, you got M&T getting ready to get rid of a portion of their office space because they got people still who like the hybrid work. Yeah. You have parking lots in downtown Buffalo that have hybrid parking agreements. So that if I'm only working 5 days a month, I got reduced on my parking now. So you have a Highmark moving from where they are over in the desert. If you work over there and you need something to eat, good luck. You better bring your lunch. Really? They are moving, which is a nice move, over to Douglas Jamal's place that's got restaurants and they can walk out.
And honestly, I was talking to one of their high up execs yesterday, and he said they are hoping that this move actually brings people back to the office.
Wow.
So that's part of the, like you said, it's downsizing, but it's also like hopefully people want to come back to work because you're up high because they're taking the top 5 floors. So
Yeah,
they
the top 5. I mean,
they got the best views in
they
Buffalo.
got it. I mean, that's a heck of a deal. But it's emptying out another place, and so you still don't have that foot traffic that is downtown, and possibly to support a grocery store or a store. That's what I'm going to call it, a store. And so, I just wanted to be very transparent with people that it is a decision of the council, but the council did not originate this.
Yes.
And when it first came to me, I was basically a no vote. Then it came back to me as a possible forgivable loan, but that if they go under, it wouldn't be forgiven. But my question is, what asset are we going to get? So that's the second thing we're working on. The third thing is this commingling thing. If you've ever heard of commingling, that's where 18, 19, and 20-year-olds can go into establishments like bars or really entertainment venues, and they can do it right now.
Yeah.
And it's happening right now, different concerts, you have 18. The only place where it was regulated was on Chippewa. And so because colleges were out for so many years, there weren't applications for that to happen, and there are applications now. And some people misunderstood it and thought we're doing something new or that, why y'all letting this happen now? It's been happening. Yeah. Chippewa's the only place where you couldn't do the whole city because we're not the state of New York. Right. That's a state move. We created out what was called an entertainment district. And that's the only place where they have to apply. So when people are like, no, get rid of that ordinance. Oh, okay, I can. And then that means they don't have to apply. Absolutely. And they could be like, what's the place over by Buffalo Place? They have the concerts over by the police station. Town. Yep. Town has concerts. Yep. They don't have to apply, and the city doesn't have to know. So sometimes we just don't know the law, and we get a little ahead of it and start talking about what we ought to do, what we ought to get rid of, and not realize that someplace, you could do it anywhere else in the city, but that was a place. But when people start saying stuff like, we don't want the kids down here, we don't want the young people down here. Well, 18 and 19 and 20 vote too, and it's not that we don't. This is for me. It's not that we don't want them down there. We don't want anybody down there who's going to tear up, period. Exactly. I don't care if you're 35 years old.
Exactly.
You can't put everything on one demographic because you're not them anymore.
And no one can provide the exact proof that is the 18, 19, and 20-year-olds destroying
haven't been able
because
give it to me.
When I was driving Lyft last year on St. Patrick's Day, it wasn't 18, 19, 20-year-olds I seen getting carried down the street drunk. So
you want to preach?
You want to preach? So even as we're sitting around the table, I'm like, I saw grown men carrying grown women, and vice versa.
You want to preach? You want to preach?
So, I'm with you on that one.
So I try to give you a little legislative update as we some of the things that I continue to move through the council. Oh, also we passed into law a resolution that I wrote and the law that I had authored for weapons in deli stores. Last week we voted after it was called aged. A few years ago, it took us that long to get here, but anyway, corner stores, some of them were selling knives in the store. And then one of my colleagues said Tuesday, one of his stores, they're selling machetes. Now, let's talk about why on the machete. A machete in certain countries is used to cut grass.
Right. Yeah.
If you go to Dominican, they use a machete to cut their grass.
Really?
So I know that as neighborhoods change, they're selling things for different cultures.
Got it. Okay.
but we can't put that machete. You take it to Home Depot.
Especially when like a 12-year-old can be like,
Can go in. There
I
was
get
no
$20
regulation,
and get
and especially when people can get outraged. I wouldn't care whether it is Williamsville or Eastside.
Yeah.
Get outraged, and all I got to do is walk into the corner store and buy a machete.
Yep.
So that was outlawed. We voted on it Tuesday. It was something that I had put forward, and it is now law. So if you see a machete, a knife, it's anything now, people can reach, but not just anything that can cause harm, like a knife, nunchucks, things that, some things are illegal here, brass knuckles, anything like that. Then you let us, it is now against the law.
Yeah, I remember when I went back to ask our attorney about it, and she was like, "Mark, I had to get creative on the definition because she was like, if that was the case, you couldn't even sell like a plastic knife." So it was a very interesting definition because, like you said, it's like anything that was designed with the intent to harm and kill.
Absolutely. So that was so what my promise and commitment to my constituents are, although I'm not running again, and I've shared this with you, I'm gonna legislate and do my job to the end.
Till the end.
This council member is not about to get lazy, is not about to not be where I'm supposed to be, is not going to stop. I'm going to write legislation until the good legislation that helps people until the day I walk out of the door.
Yeah.
You don't elect somebody because they're not going to run again. Now they don't do their job. Not me. I'm on it. So there's some other stuff that we have coming forward, and now I got to push hard to make sure it gets done before I leave elected office on the council. So,
and I'll just say, and because I think the last swan song is the Affordable Housing Task Force.
They're meeting. Yes.
They are meeting. I check it with Pedro, and
That's my baby.
Yeah, they got bylaws now. They get ready, and I think that whatever they're going to propose, because they want to do public meetings.
Yes.
So
Yes.
So it's going to be a big deal, and I think it'll be life changing.
I mean, that was important to me to have, and I know people, they tried it a few years ago, and it wasn't the appetite for it. People weren't, the appetite is there now. The rent too daggone high. And we have to have legislation that's going to protect, because I'm telling you, dealing with this woman this week broke my heart. And there's so many people who are really struggling. And again, because many times we don't own the land.
Yep. It's
just like, you understand why there was rent control in New York now.
Yep.
And I don't think that we are far from that. And I'm not trying to hurt the landlords. I got it, especially good landlords, because we're a landlord. The church is a landlord. I'm talking about unscrupulous landlords who double rents, don't put anything into their property, know that you have a tenant there, and you just want somebody else in.
Yeah.
It's just another way to go around the system and put people in the street.
And like you said, I don't think in a capitalist country, I would say I'm not a fan probably for rent control, but I do believe in probably a rent stabilization to at least allow the market to stabilize, so that way the community and residents and tenants can catch up to where rents are going.
Absolutely.
So whether it's 3 years of maybe, like you said, maybe not anything more than like a 3% increase or something. So you're not, like you said, trying to double.
Yeah.
But my salary didn't double.
Right. Exactly. And it is causing a height in homelessness.
Yeah.
Let me read this from Chuki. She says, a local DJ got an opportunity just because he was supported with likes and shares. I suggest we start an intentional avalanche to support business the same way.
I like that.
I like that too. And I think we pick one and get a group of people together, and I got a platform on Sunday morning. I love that, to ask people, hey, when you get home, go and like and support this business.
Yeah.
And put it in the bulletin. I'm thinking. I don't know what's happening in my life, but I'm at this creative stage again of thinking. Maybe it's, I don't know. Anyway, I don't know what it is. Big ups to the Changemakers 30 Under 30. is in today's Challenger. Big ups to them and all of them. We have positive. I'm going to say it again as we get ready to sign off and throw it back over for the commercials. We have positive people in our city. We have positive African American people who are doing good things in our city. And I refuse to let all black people in Buffalo and Western New York be painted with the same brush.
Right.
Because we have positive people, we have people boosting people. We just got to keep that concentration on.
Right.
So if there's someplace y'all want me to check out and go eat, let me know. Someplace I don't know about. I'm going over to I tried to go over there the other day, but they wasn't open yet. Over Willie's son place.
At 11ers, I think.
Is it at 7-Eleven, at 11,
yeah.
at 12, past 12, something like that, whatever it is. Go over and check his out because he even wrote me about his place.
Oh,
wow. Come and check him out. And I am. And I'm going to do more videos of positive things, not just food. When I bump into something positive, I'm putting it out there because that's the way we grow.
And like you said, I think if we can start doing that, then we make all the other noise. It makes that fall to the side, or everybody start looking at you like, "What's wrong with you?
Right. What's wrong with you? You don't love God. What's wrong with you? You don't love black people. What's wrong with you?" Yeah, I agree. All right, folks, I'm going to send it back over to the station for my two great sponsors, Hobson's, the doctor of dry cleaning, and Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes. They got some professional commercials, but thank you to Hobson's Dry Cleaners for what you do. I'm coming over there today. I got a boatload of stuff to pick up. Then I'm going down to Ann Rod's and pick up a boatload of pants that I have being done over there. They are the funniest women over there. You not only go get your clothes done, they're not a sponsor, but I love them. I got to give them a shout out. If you need tailoring, go over to Ann Rod's. If you need your clothes cleaned, go over to Hobson's. And if you need clothes cleaned and tailored for your...
Oh, God.
Okay, I'm not going there. Go to Brian K. Lewis. I'm sending it back over to you, Shot. Until next week, power to the people.